What is up, besties, and welcome to my impromptu video. Honestly, I kind of just wanted to have a moment of honesty because as a society, we just don't have it. And, you know, if you've been following me and you know my story, 3 weeks ago, the man that I thought I could still have a chance at marrying passed away. And it's things like death that really tends to wake us up, obviously. And so I've had these past 3 weeks to, kind of reflect on, my life, the people I surround myself with, the things that I'm not happy about, the things that I want to reach for, the things that I feel hold myself back. I really just kind of felt the need to dive into myself because honestly, this death kind of just took the cake on my ability to hold up the weight of everything. Um, Spirit just always is in because now I'm hearing Surface Pressure by Encanto in my head, and I'm like, yeah, exactly. And if you've seen that movie, maybe you can resonate with that, where it's like you've had to be strong because you knew nothing else. Maybe you came from nothing and so you had to try harder than most. Maybe you're a parentified child. Maybe you just missed out on certain things. Whatever it is, um, basically, honestly, the background is semantics. The point is, right now we're living in a pivotal moment in history. And obviously, none of us have been around in the past to have seen other moments, but I think we can all agree, right, that looking at the world around us, shit's not going back to the way that it was, and we have to find a new normal. And let's be honest, everyone is scared. And no one knows what to do. I mean, let's be real for a second. Can we just be real for just 2 seconds? Like, all right, maybe I probably come off like I'm biased when it comes to politics, but I just see it as the lesser of two evils. And honestly, I doubt that the percentage of evil lessening it would be that much because this world has taught us separation, division, hatred, not knowing yourself. It's generational trauma throughout the years to the point where it's a literal sick society, let's be honest. And it's just like regular people are just now tuning in because it's getting worse and worse and worse. And think about a rubber band, right? Oh, Spirit, good one. Oh, I'm going to butcher this. I hate when you guys randomly come in because then I have to think different. Something about, oh my god, the frog in the pot. I'm gonna butcher this because this isn't coming from me. The frog in the pot, where it's like when the water's slowly being boiled, it doesn't know that it's about to be boiled alive because what your comfort is, this is a good one. Oh, what your comfort is, if you're comfortable in the uncomfortable, right? Like for instance, us being hardwired for chaos. If that's all we know, then until we're at a point of like no return, basically, we're not going to realize that we're boiling, right? And so going back to, my own personal thing happening right now, losing someone that mattered so much to me forced me to have to just let everything fall, which is something that I think all of us can agree is really hard to let things just let Jesus take the wheel or whatever the fuck you want to say, right? Like whatever. Because we're afraid that we don't have control. And what happens when we're humans that don't feel like we can trust our foundations, our freedoms, right? And not just politics, just in life, like the world around us. I said before, it's sick. And so when we don't trust ourselves, then we either lean on people that we can't trust or we don't feel like we could trust anybody at all, right? Hyper independence or codependence. We could swing from the pendulum. And what we lack is our ability to bounce back, our ability for fluidity as a species, because we're all in a survival state for one reason or another. It could be generational and it could be what we're literally experiencing right now, this moment in history. So to think that anybody would be amazing right now is just, it's stupid. Like, let's be real here. So one thing, if any of you are ever, because, you know, I watch pick a cards from time to time, and sometimes I'll see things where it's like, this, she's so lucky, like, how does she do it? Because I don't block myself off from the shit that sucks. A lot of people think that, like, I'm ditzy, or I just see things as like half, the glass is half full and I always got a positive spin. But what people don't see is the moment, can't even speak, the moments where I'm honoring that, oh my God, this sucks. Oh my God, this is hell. Oh my God, this world is upside down. What's wrong is right. What's right is wrong. I've been telling everybody this shit for fucking years. And now it's just finally like, oh, we should finally, yeah, maybe we should mention mental health. And oh, maybe the world is kind of rigged not to be in our favor. And it's just like, but I have that advantage where I already knew that. But some people are right now just tuning in to like, oh shit, like, the government doesn't have my best interest at heart. Some people still think that they do. Some people really believe that Kamala is going to save their lives. That's fucking hysterical. I'm sorry. I don't mean to roast nobody. Like, listen, I don't want this to be divisive, but like, listen, I'll even say it myself. Let's say Trump were to win, right? I'm pretty sure. I feel like his chances got real small after Kamala. So that's a minor prediction. I did see some of Trump's timelines fall when Kamala went up. I think that whoever's on the Dem side, they have an astrologer or something, because when Trump, that assassination attempt happened, he won. I saw the timeline. He won. And then Kamala right after. It was just so convenient. But anyway, so just a little tea on that, since I haven't predicted anything in like a week. But getting back to the point of this video, I just want you all to know that, like, I paused my TV at 2:22. That's so perfect. And it's season 2, episode 2. I would switch this around, but y'all, this was just impromptu. But I just want y'all to know that if you woke up this morning and you tried, if you didn't give up, if you didn't drink and drug your life away, if you just got up, like, you need to give yourself more credit, because in losing someone that I loved and then realizing that I had no support and then happened to be the only person that had me, and then realizing how I had got to that point where I had become so disconnected from humans because, frankly, I gave up trying to be seen. Like, don't get me wrong, obviously I'm seen here on YouTube, which is beautiful, but like, nobody that I live around sees me, and that's partly my fault, you know, because it didn't feel safe to be me, because I'm not a version that is societally accepted, right? I'm a psychic medium. Oh God, that's not real, right? You got that. I'm studying astrology, add on to the woo-woo, right? I don't blend in, clearly, not interested in that. And this societal world is currently, and it will change. I don't know that we'll see it fully change in our lifetime, but we'll see big shifts for sure. But this world is rigged for you to hate yourself. Let's be honest. It's rigged for you to hate yourself, and it's rigged for you, whether intentional or not is semantics at this point. Know it so that you can get ahead of it. It's rigged for you to fail. Look, I'm going to argue that I'll die on this hill as someone without kids. I will still die on this hill. You are literally taught as young as what, like grade school, that perfect attendance makes you great, right? Perfect attendance. So at that young age of developing your own immune system, your health does not come first. You are rewarded for productivity at, I believe, up to year 7. You could correct me in the comments, but I'm pretty positive it's up to age 7. You are in an alpha state. You're in a hypnotic state. So if you're being taught things super young, like fuck your health, fuck your emotions, right? Because maybe your parents couldn't regulate theirs, and so now you're seeing that around you, and you're in that hypnotic state, and then you got the world also developed for you to run away from yourself, hate yourself, right? Because these unrealistic beauty standards, eat this food that's not really food at all, drink this alcohol so you can run away from your life, hate yourself, you're not pretty enough, you're fat. Like, I have battled every single part of me. I have hated myself. I have hated myself. I've tried to, my 20s were rough, man. Like, I did not want to be here, and I did every selfish thing I could to try and make that happen, but God obviously wanted me here to start talking my shit, so I'm gonna just do that. You know, either way, it's like, we're here, you know what I mean? That's the point. We're stuck on this shitty little, I mean, it's not the planet that sucks, it's the powers that be. It's greed that took over the world. We're seeing it on a global scale. I mean, our politicians are in bed with pharma, in bed with Hollyweird. Like, are you kidding me right now? And it's really easy to be negative, and it's really easy to continue the cycle of hatred. It's really easy. You know, I could have taken, this last death and used that as a reason to be like, you know what, fuck this world. This world's falling apart. Let me just go drink. Let me just say, screw this. Let me just cut off from my heart. Goodbye. Thank you. I hate this place. Next. And then I could have continued the cycle on. But like I usually do, because I have a Virgo stellium and I'm constantly digging, I wanted to make sure that I learned something from this. And I wanted to, because I'm a Leo, I'm loyal to a fault sometimes. I wanted to find a way to honor his death. And so I looked at, what I missed about him, because, the survivor's guilt and all that. But what I noticed was a reflection of myself, per usual. He was someone that had a really beautiful heart and didn't feel like he could fit in. And so, his mind got the best of him, Aquarius energy, and he didn't feel like he was seen in this world because he was different. He was softer than most men, and he was sensitive. And this world tries to kill us of our empathy and our sensitivity. And then when we lose that, first of all, it's primal for us to want connection. And so if we're hiding our vulnerabilities, but we crave connection, then instead of finding pure connections, we will just fit in. And so we're putting on a mask to fit in with people that, frankly, we're not even really vibing with, but we choose comfort even in chaos, because frankly, our world is chaos. And what else do we know but chaos? We don't know any better. And so I wanted to take this moment to ask you to ask yourself, where can you be more brutally honest with yourself without blame? And it's not about blame, because we're all flawed, because we were brought into a flawed system. We were doomed from the start, bestie. So have a party, do what you got to do. But I just ask you, one, don't pass the fucked up baton. You know what I mean? But then also, where do you hold yourself back? If you think of somebody that you love with your whole fucking heart right now, and imagine you got that phone call, where would you be like, oh my God, I wish I did this. Oh my God, I wish I did that. Oh my God, if I had only known. Because I had so many of those. And not only that, I've had so many people in my life die. So I've had this conversation with myself countless fucking times. And this one, it took the cake for me, because it was like, I saw myself in him. I saw how he didn't feel like he was seen, but he also didn't put himself out there to be seen. And that's something that I'm really good at. When I had the inspiration to make this video, I was like, Spirit, I don't know if I should make this video. It's not perfect. It's not. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Because I know that I would want to hear this from someone else. And we don't get enough credit for just fucking being here, period. It's a shit show. You put on the news, death, doom, gloom, all that shit. That's why I've been turning off the fucking news, bestie. If that triggered, yeah, you. But anyway, we don't get taught to prioritize our mental health. We don't know what it's like to have mind, body, spirit, not correlation, not configuration. You know what I mean? When it's all moving simultaneously. And when I started this spiritual journey, like, I kind of knew what I wanted. Like, I set out, like, to manifest. I wanted to have peace. I wanted to have pure freedom, the definition of freedom. And what I didn't realize I was going to do was go through very painful changes to find out who I really was without being held back by society, by family, by tradition, by whatever it is that makes us hold back from being ourselves. Because let's be honest, the whole reason this whole world is to shit is because people don't know how to be happy. And when they don't know how to be happy, they go outside of themselves. And what happens when they go outside? Drugs, drinking, money, people. We use things, and there's nothing wrong, right? Like, moderation with everything, but we have to admit when we're running away from ourselves. And I was one of many, so no judgment, because hey, this is coming from experience, where I was always trying to escape my life because I was like, nobody's gonna get me. Nobody sees me. No one understands me. Nobody pours into me the way that I pour into everybody else. And while that is true, I also wasn't trying to let anyone see who I really was. Granted, you can argue, well, I was in an environment, and chances are you probably are too, where you're surrounded by people that don't think like you do. Or maybe they do think like you do, but maybe you want to go deeper. I don't know. Whatever your thing is. Maybe your family's lawyers and you want to be a beautician. I don't fucking know. But the point is, the reason for all of this unhappiness, the reason for why we have drug issues, alcohol, depression, all of it, is because we don't know ourselves, and because we don't have people that know to tell us to find ourselves, because it doesn't benefit this fucked up system that we currently have. And so all I ask for you, for yourselves, is to say to yourself, if I knew tomorrow no one would judge me, I get a free pass, however the fuck I show out that door tomorrow, everyone's going to love me. They're going to worship me. They're not going to say a negative thing about me. How would I show up? I guarantee half of you don't even know what you like. And that's totally fine, because guess what? I'm 5 years on this journey and I'm still learning. So again, this system is designed for you not to know who you are and then go outside of yourself, whether intentional or not. That's greed. So kind of, but it's semantics. But ask yourself, where have I held myself back from living the life that I really want? Who inspires me, and why do they inspire me? You know, I'll see a lot of videos where it's like, who's sending you the evil eye? And it'll be like, oh, it's someone that's like, they might be a follower or something. I'm not calling anybody out, but it'll be like, they like your style and they're super jealous. And it's like, do you like my style, or do you feel like you're stunted from being yourself? Because a lot of times we get inspired by somebody because they're doing something that either we're not, or it's similar to what we want. Like, for instance, I get really inspired by spirituality, right? But I'm not going to be drawn to every single spiritual person, because I'm going to be drawn to things that are more like me. So maybe, you know, you're drawn to me having bright hair and a lot of tattoos because you want to stand out too. You know what I mean? Use the fact that everybody is a mirror to your advantage. When something doesn't feel good, that's your energy going, this isn't for me. And maybe that means we have to create a new relationship with that person, place, or thing, or maybe that means we need to cut it out entirely. But I'm telling you from personal experience, this society has designed you not to listen to your intuition. And the moment you start listening to your intuition, it's going to go against the fabric of your being, because it's not what they taught you. And then on top of that, you're going to have everybody else getting uncomfortable because you're changing the rhetoric. And it's going to be like the world's out to get you. But when I tell you that I'm like this close to being fully like good with myself, like I've come a long fucking way. And it was because I was honest about what is triggering me and why is it triggering me? What hurts still and why? Why do we let people have power over us? Like, this is a hot take, but you know what? I've been the victim of it. So I can talk from experience. Why do we give so much power to narcissists? They're the opposite side of the damage from, I'm butchering this, I'm sorry. It's like narcissist, but then the opposite. I feel like spirit's trying to come in and hijack me. Spirit, stop. Or if you're trying to help me, then help. It's like two sides of the same coin. The narcissist, yeah, see, it's coming in. The narcissist is void of empathy because it's like, all right, I gotta get needs met. It's like a primal state, right? Whereas like the codependent, the one that's super empathetic, also knows the trauma of not getting what their essential needs were, and so they're clinging on, kind of like an urchin to a rock. You know what I mean? I can feel y'all talking. I can feel it. Anything else? What it's like to be a psychic. But anyway, we need to stop putting power into things that are not us, because the moment we do that, the moment we lose ourselves, and then the moment we lose ourselves, we either lean on others, right? That's how like cults are so easy. What do they prey on? People that don't know themselves, people that feel like they need something outside of themselves. And this is, any psychic, I'm sure, would tell you this world is going to be getting worse. And that doesn't mean like, this isn't a fear thing. It's first of all, turn off the fucking news. But get prepared so that you're not on an empathy overload and an overwhelm, because you're so conditioned to worry about everything but yourself. right now is a time where you need to be figuring out who you are and what that means for you and living unapologetically. Whether you believe in it or not, it's some form of like a spiritual war. But honestly, it's society needing to level the fuck up. And frankly, as scary as it is, it's what's necessary for human evolution to get into a place where we are actually evolved. Because let's be honest, when we have leaders that can't have conflict resolution, so there's all this war going on, we don't have leaders. I'm sorry, like, hot take, but if you have people that have murder as the only answer, that's the only answer you got. You can't use your words. Where have we gone as a species where we can't use our words anymore? And you get canceled for your words at the same time. So we find them threatening and we don't use them, and then we just like this. It's upside down world. Give yourself a break. Give yourself a pat on the back for fucking being here, for trying. Hail Mary, hallelujah, whatever the fuck you believe in. And give yourself a break and find out who you are, because this shit's not changing. With every revolution, bad things have to fall apart for better things to come together. Like, for instance, when everybody started to fear that, like, oh my God, all of these businesses are going to shut down. But if corporate conglomerates fall down, then you're going to have to evolve in an age of technology where you can build your own business. So is it really that the world is falling apart, or is it just like the seasons where things have to fall away for better things to come in? And to get through the next few years and whatever the hell is to come is going to be about a perspective change. It's got to be about, I'm not delusional to what's going on in the world around me, and I can, intentionally pray on behalf of people that are experiencing hardships, right? I can send them good energy, but I can't get overwhelmed in that because, thank you, Spirit, like the analogy of the airplane going down, you need to have your air first. And I am someone that has a Virgo stellium and a Leo with a Taurus rising, so it's really hard for me to change. And so I was really great at giving that advice, but even I was guilty of not taking it, where I was just still like, gotta put the masks on everybody else, gotta make sure everybody else is doing well, fuck Mindy's feelings, fuck what she needs, she comes last, because it was just instilled in me, because society does not tell you to put yourself first. It's a whole global issue. And if we all did that, at the bare minimum, we'd be happy. We'd be able to find peace in the chaos. Why that song, Spirit? I'm at one, and I've been quiet for so long. I found peace in your violence, can't show me. I don't know what the point in that song would be. Oh, I've been silent for so long. Yeah, exactly. Spirit, I have brain fog. Come on, man. What it's like to be me all the time. But yeah, when we don't know who we are, it's going to make this world a lot scarier. When we don't know how to lean on ourselves, it's going to make this world a lot scarier. When we don't know how to self-soothe, right? Because then we lean on our vices, guilty, soda, my caffeine to keep me going while grieving. And I don't know if I'll get in trouble for this, but I'm going to just, and we all got it, right? We got our TVs, we got our social media, but just be aware. Be aware of the times where you're kind of running away from yourself, and be honest about that, and ask yourself, what am I running away from? Because chances are you're probably trying to escape the craziness that's going around, and you're not wrong for feeling that way. But if you keep running away from yourself, this world's only going to get worse. And I'm not trying to like fearmonger, but it's going to be more overwhelming, right? Because look at all the readings we've been doing on the Diddy series, right? I've literally seen comments where people have been like, bestie, love you, but this is getting so dark that I need to take a step back, and I'll take a break. And I'm like, good, please do that. Know your limits. Know what you can and can't do, and honor that. Are you exhausted, but you have a friend trying to call you at 10 o'clock at night to trauma dump on you when they never fucking change? Hang up the phone. It's time to worry about you. And I know that that's scary for a lot of people that are people pleasers, but coming from personal experience, being on both sides of the coin, you don't do anyone any favors by saving anybody, and you can't save anybody that doesn't want to be saved. And it's not selfish to pick yourself, because frankly, it forces others to do the same, whether they like it or not, because they're either going to be triggered by it, and then maybe they'll be mad at you and hate try to win, which we all want people to win. So, you know, however they decide to do it, spitefully or not, is what it is. You know what I mean? But now's the time where you need to be putting yourself first. Now's the time where you need to be getting to know who you are. Now's the time where you need to be honest and say, I'm in this shit show, right? I'm in the thick of it. We're already here. We're pretty much, we're in WW3 right now. We're pretty close, right? And I usually set the intention with these videos that, you know, if something bad were to happen to you, you probably wouldn't see my video. So I don't intentionally fearmonger. So I doubt anything bad's gonna happen. I think Spirit's trying to get me through to you, whoever you are, and let me know if you're willing to do this in the comment section. But choose yourself. I know that there's probably been a fuck ton of people that taught you that that was selfish, but that's because we have a whole bunch of society that doesn't know any better. And if our parents didn't know any better, and if the world around us doesn't know any better, if our friends, if our relationships, if no one knows any better, how are they going to do any better? You know what I mean? The amount of which you should have, and honor your feelings, because that's how you let that shit go. But the amount of times I've been so angry about, like, situationships I've been in where they refuse to see me, and it's like, well, they couldn't. First of all, I didn't see me. And second of all, they couldn't see themselves. I mean, we see all the warning signs, right? Like, how many times do we get a gut feeling not to date somebody and then we ride that shit out 10 years down the road? You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. Like, the guy that cheated on me with all of my fucking friends. Oh my God. I remember the day I knew that shit was over was when I was going to a wedding expo with my friend. I was like, this is not happening. I'm not marrying this guy. But did I stay? Of course I did. Because why? Because society tells us to choose logic. And there's a place for logic. But if it's not aligning with your gut, either you got a bad gut compass and you might need to recalibrate and find yourself, or maybe you're just not used to listening to it. And listen, as someone who has a ton of earth placements, I understand that logic is important. It really fucking is. And one of the things that I really hated about spirituality in particular was the whole trust the divine timing and trust in spirit. I was like, bitch, I couldn't trust in my own parents. How you expect me to trust in something I can't see? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you expect that from me? But it's small steps. Just like you slowly learn to trust a person, a relationship, a friend, right? You will slowly learn how to trust yourself. You will slowly learn how to trust that there's something bigger than you kind of riding for you, even though you're not riding for yourself. It's uncomfortable, and it's going to go against the fabric of your being because you don't know any better. And that's okay. Make small steps and don't bully yourself, but at least honor in this moment what matters to you and what doesn't. And just think about, how can we bridge the gap just a little bit, just until we get more comfortable with it? You know, I was a huge people pleaser and I had no idea who I was. And I was so terrified to not be liked. And guess what? I couldn't make people happy no matter what I did. I died down every part of who I was, and people still had a problem with me. And now I'm me, and people still have a problem with me. But at least I'm me. You know what I mean? I am not falling asleep to Law and Order SVU as a comfort show anymore. So, you know, I think I'm killing it. Now I'm watching sci-fi shows, and I love that I'm weird as hell. I love it because it's me, you know? I sit here, I'm a little ungrounded because I'm highly empathic, so I'm going to throw on my patchouli spray, my little hippie ass in our little hippie workroom, and I just be me. And I pray that people that are on my wavelength find me, and, you know, as I've become more and more me, I find more and more respect come from certain people as I do that. So, will people fall away? Yeah. Will relationships die? Probably. Will you be happy though? Fuck yeah. Despite everything that the tornado of bullshit that has happened in my life lately, I can honestly say that I'm in a much better place than I've ever been. If this had happened like 5 years ago, first of all, I'd have been in a bottle, gone. Like, forget it. I probably would have been a danger to myself. I probably would have 5150'd myself. But even if we want to go back like a year, I would have went back to smoking cigarettes, because that would have been like, oh, gotta use a vice, gotta do that, you know? Or I started working right away. I was like, oh, this should be good for me, right? Because I'm conditioned for productivity. Do you see what I'm saying? When we don't know better, we don't do better. So this is me telling you from experience, especially if you're one of those weirdo hate followers. Hey, if you hate me so much, maybe ask yourself why that is, because why are you putting the power in a stranger's hand? And if you get triggered by somebody or anybody, instead of being like, this person did that and this person did that, honor those feelings, for sure, honor them. But at the end of it, go, but why though? Like that little 7-year-old annoying kid that's always like, but why? But why? That never died in me. It never died in me. And I think that's why I've been able to handle so much fucking dark shit and still be able to smile. Because I'm always like, why? Bigger picture. Why? Why did I have to find out from my ex that my other ex passed away? Why did I have to lose 4 people in 1 week? Why? Because I'm evolving, and because it's actually quite poetic, because that the man that passed away, Ian, loved me like I had never been loved before. And so for someone like him to pass away forces me to go, how can I honor him other than loving myself like he loved me? And I had never done that before. Never. It's kind of part of why our relationship didn't work. It'd be like the Tom and Jerry push-pull shit. Our timing was always garbage. But ask yourself, whatever it takes for you to be able to choose yourself. If it's to honor a loved one, if it's to honor your kids, if it's to honor yourself, preferably. But, if you gotta... It took small steps for me. I used to be a productivity horse. How all of me being able to relax started was me manipulating the Catholic Church. I only let myself have Sundays off at one point, and I was like, oh, it's God's day. It's a day of rest. That's how I began to let myself rest. I never let myself rest prior to that. And that was only a few years ago. I was sober when that happened. So give yourself some empathy, give yourself some grace. And just ask yourself, who do I want to be and what is limiting me from that? Because chances are a lot of those fears, well, you should honor them because it's coming from something. It's in your mind. Oh my God, I just heard zombie. It's in your head. It's in your head. And yeah, people are going to be uncomfortable with you changing, but what's worse? Losing a few people and them being uncomfortable and having to learn how to adjust to the new version of you, or continuing whatever mediocrity you've been settling for? Because not only will you have to continue that mediocrity, the world around you is going to get much more intense. There's going to be more wars, right? It's going to be more floods, more disasters, more finances not going up, but the cost of living going up. So if we find ourselves sooner, if we get into a mind-body spirit, correlation where we're able to go, oh, hey, I'm feeling weird today. I need to honor that. And, I know that y'all got 9 to 5s and but find where you're limiting yourself and be honest, brutally honest. Like you would want your best friend to be honest with you, because I'm telling you, that's how you're going to get through all this. There's a lot of people that are like, oh my God, she's so strong. And I don't know how she's so strong. She gets up from everything. How does she do it? I don't turn cold. I don't decide to go angry and then become the thing that made me hurt to begin with. I go, what is this telling me about myself and what can I learn? And I look at this prison planet as a school and I go, how can I grow? And that's another thing in society. It's like you're supposed to go until 18, which you're still basically a child, no offense, but brain's not fully developed till you're 25. Saturn returns at 30, but you're an adult at 18. Yeah, okay. But you see what I'm saying? Like all of these standards are made up. Yeah, oh my God, whose line is it anyway? It's not real. Oh my God. Spirit, are you just hijacking me all the time? What is that song? I just found out there's no such thing as the real world. John Mayer. That's a good song. So, yeah, I know this was like all over the place, but this will hit who it needs to hit. If you're in relationships and you're like, why the fuck am I putting up with this shit? Like, this isn't making me happy. Or, you're just kind of, I don't like this. I'll just put up with that. Stop. Just stop. Because it'll get you that much closer to being some form of happier. And it's a ride into finding yourself. It's unraveling this onion of layers that you don't want so that you could find out who you really are and what you really like and what you really about and what you really came here for. And there is a point and there is a purpose. And with the world headed the way that it's headed, now is the time where you need to realize that there is a point and a purpose, because it's gonna look grim and grisly out there. But if you meet yourself at your core, which they don't teach you because that doesn't benefit them, whether intentional or not, if you do that, the rest of this gets so much easier, because then you learn to flow with your own tide. You learn to ride your own wave. When shit gets hard, you know it's time to fall back. I know now that it's time for me to be easy on myself, as uncomfortable as that makes me. And I'm slowing down and I'm outside more, and I'm just honoring the fact that I'm a human and I'm not a machine. And while that's very uncomfortable for me, the idea of continuing a sick cycle that I don't want to be a part of sounds way worse. It just sounds worse. And so I choose myself and I choose the harder path, because in the end, I'm going to be so much happier. I'm already so much happier. Most people are like, this bitch is crazy. She's been through so much shit. How is she still smiling? Because I don't see life the way everybody else does. I don't see it as this awful, barren hell shitstorm. I mean, I have my days, and what I do, I pretend I'm on the Truman Show and I talk to the stars and I'm like, take me home, you motherfuckers. You know what I mean? But I just don't take shit so seriously, and I learn every lesson that can come towards me all the time. Why am I attracting these types of people? Why am I still attracting people that can't pour into me? Why am I still feeling like I'm on a rat wheel even though I'm not on the rat wheel anymore? What's going on in my mind? Okay, maybe I need to turn things off so I can hear what's going on in my mind. They don't teach us any of this shit. So of course we're getting everything wrong. We don't even know who we are. I didn't know who I was until maybe like a year ago, 2 years ago. You could argue 5, but even then, like, I was so people pleasery until like last year maybe. Because it takes time to unlearn decades of shit. And when we live in a society that promotes nothing but instant gratification, of course you're going to think something's wrong when you're not better on day 3. Of course you're going to think something's wrong when you're not healed within a month. We have a society where you can literally be like, oh, I want this, and then have it delivered at your house tomorrow. So of course we don't remember what it's like to actually have delayed gratification. People can't even, they laugh at books now. Like, come on. Of course we're getting it wrong. We're not being taught how to do it right. So, I don't know. Maybe this video will only hit a couple of people. I hope it helps. Let me know if you made it to the end. And let me know what you think, because you're not alone. And I'm not delusional to the fact that this place sucks. Like, I'm not delusional to that. It sucks. It's very lonely over here on my side. But I just don't focus on that shit, because where your focus goes, your intention goes, or whatever the hell that quote is. And I had a lot of years where I focused on just the negative. And so negative was what I got. But then I decided to do a Hail Mary and say, all right, I'm going to try to be grateful and follow this spiritual shit. And I don't fucking get it, but I can't seem to escape it. So let me try it. And guess what? It was exactly, it was me coming home to myself. So come home to yourself. You deserve that. We all deserve that. So I don't know if this is going to help anybody. Let me know down in the comments if you guys enjoyed this, because I'd be willing to make more of these from time to time when I have my moments where I'm like, I feel like I should share that. But I just want you guys to ask yourselves, what do you want out of this life long term? And how can you become it? And don't make excuses. Don't. Because if it's in your heart, not your ego, not like, oh, I want to be famous. No, like, I have a story to share, or I want to help people, or I want to just be happy and healthy, have a happy relationship. What steps can you take to get there? How can you be part of the solution to your own life? Because there are always steps that we can take. Our external world is constantly reflecting the internal. Psychology already proves that. Science pretty much proves that, I'm sure. But we have to do the work. And when we're not taught how to do that, because it doesn't benefit anything that we're taught currently, then this shit's going to be uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. I used to be really proud of the fact that I couldn't cry. Like, that was a flex for me. And guess what? I had a severe anxiety disorder instead. Disease is literally dis-ease within the body, because, again, we're not being taught how to regulate and harmonize with our own nervous system. I was on constant, like, I can't even imagine how bad my cortisol levels must have been, because my blood pressure in my 20s was like, so just ask yourself, like, where am I adding unnecessary stress to my life? Am I in this dead end relationship that causes me pain, but it's just comfortable and safe, so I'm staying in the pain? Because that's limiting my potential. And this fear of the unknown, life is full of unknowns. Just get with it. Just ride the fucking wave, dude. Like, I know it sucks. I'm not here to disagree with that, but coming from experience with someone that has such a logical mind, I have found that the less logical we are, the more intuitive we become, and it goes against everything we've been taught, which is why we have such a hard time with it. And I feel like I'm going around in circles at this point. So I'm going to end it here, besties. Let me know what you guys think. Did I just ramble on a tangent for nothing? Or are you guys kind of picking up what I'm putting down here? Because regardless of who wins the next election, regardless of who gets arrested for what, this world is changing, whether you like it or not. And we're about to see some more crazy shit. It's not over. So if you're like, how can I be happy? Start by finding and meeting yourself. And start by being honest where you let yourself down in situations, even if you're not the bad guy, even if you're not the villain. Maybe you're in a relationship with a whole narcissist, right? And you're like, well, I'm not the bad guy, but what can we do? What steps can we take? How can we, inform ourselves so that we're educated, so that we don't have to be afraid of these things? You know what I'm saying? And then go from there. The thing that you're afraid of, that part of yourself that you're afraid to touch, is the key to you unlocking your own potential. We're afraid of vulnerability, when vulnerability is how you accomplish bravery. There is no bravery without vulnerability. It's a scientific fact. Brene Brown. But we're not taught that. We're not taught how to do anything right, really. We're just taught how to survive. But we all want to live. So if we all want to live, then we all got to do the hard thing. Might as well do it now, while shit's crazy, before it gets crazier, So I'm going to leave it here, besties. I know this was such a rant, but I just want you guys to be prepared. And I want you guys to have the best chance of having the best life in the craziest of times, because it's possible. I'm not a stroke of luck. I don't have it made. I follow my gut and my intuition. And I ignore logic when it's going against my gut. And I trust in something bigger and greater than me, even if I don't have the words for it. And all of that helps me know that even in the hardest days and the darkest shit coming out, that there's still a point. And when you can see the point and the meaning, the big picture, the circle of life, whatever, the light at the end of the tunnel, that's how you get through all of this. That's how I smile. That's how I laugh. That's how I survive not marrying the man I thought I was going to marry. That's how I keep going. And you guys can do it too. I'm going to leave it here, besties. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys when I have my energy to do another video. So thank you for watching. Let me know if you stay till the end. Love you guys. Peace.